Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Chuck Graham Show. I was weighing in on the comments on another video, the last video I did, which was pretty informative. I mean, it was a pretty good, somewhat debate with a gentleman that had an opposing view. Just short, hey, I'm all for opposing views because, well, dissent is part of this, what makes this country so great. So anyway, let's get into it today. I'm going to have something a little bit more lighthearted that I seen yesterday. It was Judge Flood out of Polk County, Florida. This was years ago. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. This is what I found really interesting. The comments on Judge Flood's reprimand by the Florida Supreme Court. I watched the whole thing. I'm not going to share the whole thing with you. But I will say that we'll just take a listen to some of the commentary. I'm going to play about 20 seconds of it.
House, County Judge Susan Flood having sex on a table in her office with bailiff James Bubba Maxey, an affair her attorney claims was common knowledge in the courthouse since 2011.
Okay. In that gap right there, I'm going to put that video in edit. Like I said, I don't edit them, and anyway, it is what it is. But to give you a little perspective of what was said in the comments on Judge Flood's reprimand.
There is a better way to make money with Amazon than selling physical products. Introducing
Amazon. So let me put this. All right. Let me get. I cut it on. I'm gonna play. You just heard it. Some of the sorry about the commercial and crap. I should have took a break or something maybe. All right. From what I see this week, every court in the country needs camera for transparency. That was one comment. Another one was, I don't understand how she can still be a judge. How can she pass judgment on others for their wrongdoings when she herself does wrong and doesn't follow the law or the oath that she took? All persons going before, I'm assuming should have been her, should ask for her to recuse herself. I often said this, and my wife gets so irritated at me sometimes, but I often said this, the most misinterpreted passage of scripture ever in the Bible is he who is without sin cast the first stone. They were bringing this girl to the gates of the city. They were going to stone her to death because she got caught committing adultery, right? Well, Christ was writing in the sand when he said, he who was without sin cast the first stone. He didn't mean don't judge people. That's not what he meant. I believe, in my personal opinion, he was writing the law down. And if you go back to the Old Testament, look at the law, it says you shall bring both to the gates of the city to be stoned. Well, they only brought her, which means they weren't following the law that they were about to stone her as, and then they realized that because he was writing the law down in the sand, which told them, oh, crap, we're all breaking the law too, so they walked away. That's my interpretation of that. You can leave your opinions in the comments, but my point being is this. This woman is a human being and apparently a little horny.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
And she had a thing for the bailiff. And she shagged him in the in her office, I believe it was, as reported. So, well, she got caught and she got reprimanded, publicly reprimanded by the Supreme Court of Florida. So the point is was she wrong? Does she have the ability to be a good judge? Can she make good, sound decisions in the future? And I'm not even sure. I hadn't even looked to see if she was. I just thought this was funny. I hadn't looked to see if she's still a judge or if she was beat out of office by somebody. But let me just tell you something, folks. If God judged us like we judge each other, we'd all go to hell. I'm just saying. That's a fact. Just because she was shagging a deputy sheriff, which was a grown man, willing participant, doesn't make her unfit to be a judge. I'm just saying. Like Polk County Sheriff, Grady Judge, I believe it is. I'm not a fan of his because he puts his cases on display, and he basically argues them in the form of public opinion, in the court of public opinion. I think that's a mistake. I think it compromises his cases, and if his DA doesn't realize that, he's an idiot. I would like to know how many cases get dismissed because of that, or get dismissed because of lack of evidence. I've often said that. Someone is presumed innocent. It's plastering their ass all over the media and arguing your case, basically giving up information on them, saying how bad these people are, is just tainting the jury pool, and you can't get a fair trial. I would hate to be one of those people because you're presumed innocent. I'm a former cop. I'm not pro-police nor am I anti-police, but I will tell you this, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. There is a reason you would rather 5 guilty people go free than 1 innocent person go to jail. That's the premise of our system. You want that system that way. But anyway, to wrap this up, to say that Judge Flood was somehow incapable of being a good judge is just nonsense. Because the people that say that are saying that they expect a judge to be perfect. They're not perfect. They're flawed. They're human beings. They do stupid shit. And apparently they get a little horny every now and again. And I know I don't mean to be making light of that. And do I believe that it is immoral to have sex before marriage? Yes. Do I believe it's immoral to commit adultery? Yes, I do. It's very hard to legislate, but it is absolutely immoral. Does it rise to the level of getting rid of her as a judge because her mental capacity to be judge is somehow skewed by the fact that she is a sinful creature? No. If I'd have been the judge and the investigators would have come in, I'd have told them to pound sand. I wouldn't have anything to say to them. You want to take it before the commission? Take it. If you don't, whatever. But that would be just me. I'm not a judge. But I will tell you this, the bottom line is, folks, but I am a sinful creature. We all are. And the sooner you realize this, the better off you'll be. Do I think that she's a bad person for it? I don't know her. So you can't judge if someone's a bad person because she was trying to get a little egg in her office or her chambers in the courthouse. And I find it funny. I do. I find it funny of the comments. And you can go on and you can read these comments and they are crazy, you know? One guy says this, H. Green, I ain't going to say his name, but he says, she was on the verge of a smirk the entire time. I did see that too. I thought, oh, shit, she's fixing to start laughing. I mean, it really was. Can you imagine? I mean, they're publicly reprimanding her. They're telling her, you can't do this. Of course, she knew that. The deputy, most likely, he was suspended from what I read. I didn't do the research to find out if they fired him or not. But if it was Grady Judge at the time, he probably so. Should Grady Judge be giving sermons in his uniform? That was a big question controversy he had. Is that somehow another? But there is no separation of church and state in our Constitution, by the way. There's only the freedom of religion to be able to worship unimpeded, unless it's a pandemic, which was later deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. You should be able to worship whenever. It doesn't matter if the Black Plague is at your door. The point being is this. I don't know. I don't know if it was a good idea for him to do that. Do I think it rises to the level to remove Grady Judd? No. I think all in all, he's probably a good sheriff. He's just making some really stupid decisions when it comes to plastering people's face all over the media. But that's my opinion. The great thing about America is you have your right to your opinions, and you should. Dissent is great. Dissent is not misinformation. If I tell you that I was abducted and some aliens stuck a probe up my butt, that's my opinion, or maybe my experience, and you may not agree with it. But does it mean it's misinformation? No. No, and anybody with half a brain or two brain cells rubbing together can go out and research what people say and then turn around and get multiple sources of it and make a critical decision of what you believe to be true. Dissent is a great thing. Anytime you have an appeal where you have multiple people making a decision, you're going to have dissenting opinions. And that's a good thing. So the bottom line is to say that having a dissenting opinion is somehow enough bad is not good for America at all. But in closing with Judge Flood, I don't think there is anything that she did that rose to the level of removing her from office. I think they did the right thing. They publicly reprimanded her. I don't know if she had to pay a fine. It doesn't appear that she did. It just appeared that there was a public reprimand. And judges do, I mean, it's not like she tampered with evidence or tried to skew a case or swing it one side or the other like some of them that's been removed from office have done. She just simply was having an affair with the bailiff, and she kind of liked him, I guess, and he kind of liked her. And turns out that, you know, it all worked out. So there you go. Controversy at the courthouse. I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should Judge Flood have just stepped down from office because of her lack of ability to judge? Let me know in the comments. See y'all.